Welcome to Gareth Jones on Speed. Before we go anywhere, Colin McRae. For me, Colin McRae was a great entertainer. He always over-delivered. Even at Le Mans a couple of years ago, so I can remember watching burning Ferraris arriving with their brakes on fire in the pit at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Absolutely, yeah.
Heroic stuff.
An enormous talent and an enormous shame to lose something like that, particularly after he spent so much time, flying around forests and narrow mountain tracks at insane speeds, controlling a car on the verge of crashing virtually all the time. It seems like you've got past the danger and then is lost in something like this. It's a terrible shame.
We miss him. Richard, you miss him, I know.
Yeah, I found it affected me more than I thought, because I was a big fan of his and I thought he was a great driver, and I remember watching him when he first started out. He was in that Legacy as well, which is frankly too big to be a rally car. He just sort of wrestled it around, and sometimes he went off, but he was always on the limit, which I think is always a sign of a fearless driver, and that's what you've got to be, particularly in rallying, because I think we've talked about this before on the show, but rally drivers are, I think, in some ways better talents than F1 stars, in as much as I think you could put a rally driver into a Formula 1 car, which in fact McRae did, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he did very well.
Yeah, it was quite handy, whereas I think sometimes you'd put a Formula 1 driver into a rally car, and I think their learning curve would be a lot steeper. And I found it affected me quite a lot. I think it affected all of us quite a lot. And if you just want to be reminded of what a great talent he was, go and have a look on YouTube, and there's loads of stuff on there now since he died. But in particular, seek out something where he's driving a Metro 6R4, which is a sort of course car on a rally stage. And he's supposed to be sort of essentially doing what's like a parade lap, but what he actually does is just kick the bottom out of it all the way through. It's incredible. Also, one of my favourite rally cars, and one of my favourite drivers. And it's very, very sad that he's gone. And as Zog says, there's a certain bitter irony in the way that he died. But let's not get too mawkish about it. Let's just celebrate the fact that he was a bloody good driver. And go to your computer and find some examples of him being great.
Formula 1 comes to a bit of another crunch moment this weekend at Fuji. But we've just had one huge crunch in F1, haven't we? The verdict of the hearing.
We haven't actually, the three of us, talked about this face-to-face yet, but I mean, I think it really stinks. I just can't make sense of it at all. I mean, just to very briefly sum up what's wrong with this to me. First off, absolutely, McLaren deserves some kind of penalty for what members of their staff did.
$50 million.
$100 million. $100 million.
No,
sorry,
have you noticed,
$100 million.
Max Mosley turned into Dr. Evil from the Austin Powers film. $100 million.
And you shall not have any points in the championship at all. Yes.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, they deserve some penalty, but it seems to me that the level of the penalty is way out of line with what they actually did when you compare it with any other comparable cases that have come before the FIA. I'm thinking of 1994 in Benetton when, in a sort of comparable case, a junior member of the team was supposed to have tampered with the equipment. This wasn't sanctioned by the team, but it was a serious incident, removing a bit of the fuel rig that was safety related. And they basically gave Benetton a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
There was no action against Toyota recently when Ferrari engineers took Ferrari information to Toyota.
Yeah, that slightly hooky fuel tank thing that BAR had 3 years ago
was dealt with
absolutely
very straightforwardly.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Were you ever in a gang
it's
when
way,
you were a
way,
kid?
way out of... And the
I
other
was,
thing,
I was in Hollywell Commandos.
You're sort of a gang, and then so you'd form, like, you become a kind of self-policing collective.
Yeah.
But it's essentially, you're all 10, so then somebody is caught talking to, like, Ben Stockdale from another gang, and he's seen, or like you were, hang on a minute, you were riding James Hampson's BMX, and you're part of our gang, not his gang. We're going to punish you by, like, stealing your trainers and then beating you up. And it's sort of like, it's all out of proportion, it gets a bit Lord of the Flies. Now, it strikes me, the FIA think they're in a childhood gang, and they're dishing out punishments that are the first things that pop into their heads, and they haven't really thought it through. And I'm surprised that on that thing when you had all your points taken away, and we're going to fine you $100 million, and also I'm not coming round to your mum's for tea tomorrow as well. I thought it was just it smacked of they'd just gone, what should we do? Quick, we've got to look decisive, and we can't.
Let's do something big and dramatic.
Let's do something big and dramatic, like setting fire to a treehouse. It was pathetic.
It was pathetic, and also, despite the fact that I do not want either of the McLaren drivers to lose any points. I don't see how you can possibly fine the team $100 million and exclude them from the championship and not take any sanction against the drivers.
Because they've benefited from the technology in the cars, all the engineering of the cars.
If what the team has done is so bad that it actually deserves a $100 million fine and exclusion from the championship, how can you possibly let the drivers off scot-free? That just doesn't make sense to me. Well, the way you can do it is if your $100 million fine and your exclusion from the championship is some ridiculous, childish...
just made up thing,
but knee-jerk punishment of some kind.
Yeah,
I don't really know what's going on here, but
they're just trying to hit Ron where it hurt him most
in the bomber jacket.
Yeah,
where he keeps his wallet, as it turns out.
Who's going to win in Fuji? Who's going to win in Fuji? It's nice to be back in Fuji. I remember when James Hunt won there, I became a fan of Formula One almost on the spot. So I'm quite excited.
When was it? When was racing?
76.
Oh, so I was 1.
Stop it!
Oh, you young whippersnapper!
I was 15.
Can you really remember it?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, I do. In the rain. Yeah.
I can remember. No, I can remember. I think I watched the race in an aunt's living room in Scunthorpe. I think.
Hey, they had TV in Scunthorpe in 76.
Yes,
good.
Remember, you can't say Scunthorpe without saying classic F1 moment. Something else.
Yeah. But is Lewis going to win this championship? That's really what we want, boys, isn't it? Let's be honest, hands on your heart.
Do you remember last time before Spa, you and me both went, Lewis is going to win, and then it didn't sort of pan out like that, which was...
I didn't know.
But, actually not surprising. And that's what's great about the end of this season. I can't tell you who's going to win. Can you?
It's close, isn't it?
I hate to sound like we've kind of coordinated all this before, but I've got to agree with Richard here. I was very confident a while back that Lewis was going to win the championship. I'm just not so sure now. Alonso is looking like a world champion.
Well,
again.
he's got a point to prove almost, hasn't he?
Oh,
which is
he has.
He's gone from being class snitch to now he's got to be class SWAT. So
and Ferrari are looking great.
Kimi's back.
Having said that, Lewis doesn't really have much to lose.
It's great, isn't it?
It's good. I don't admit, it's good.
My money is still on Lewis. I mean,
my heart's
literally
on
and
Lewis.
metaphorically.
Yeah. My heart's on Lewis. My head says Alonso. Richard?
Yeah, I'm probably with you on that. I do, but come every Sunday for the rest of the season when there's a race on, you'll be rooting for Lewis. Unless you're my girlfriend, who is rooting for Alonso on the proviso, and this is brilliant, and I quite like this logic, and it makes things interesting in our house, but she says, no, I'm going to root for Alonso because I just think it's horrible when you're doing your job quite well, and then some new kid turns up and makes you look bad because he's a show-off. And I think it's unfair on him. I know. It's really.
She's kind of got a point, but that's not really. Yeah.
Well, because she's not British, so she doesn't have that sort of
the emotional connection.
And she's American, and frankly, who's she going to root for?
Yeah. She's just being a bit too reasonable about the whole thing.
No, I think it's good. I think it's an interesting logic, but I think it's true. Alonso has been shown up a little bit. In a way, and now he's got a point to prove. But that's great. Yeah. He'll be back. He is back. He's fighting like crazy.
Yeah, and I'm loving what I'm seeing in Alonso at the moment. That he's bounced back from being a kind of a downtrodden, sulky teenager of a driver who was kind of complaining about not being given good enough treatment. My teammates getting better.
They won't give me all the Ferrari secrets. I've said too much.
But last couple of races he's been really on it. He's just looked like a world champion.
You're right. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
He could certainly do it. I think it's it could be either of those McLaren drivers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Very well. I got some new tyres for my car, right? I got some new tyres. I went to the shop. I said, I want some new tyres for my car. A bloke in the shop says, do you want Pirelli? I said, no. They're too expensive. I said, do you want Michelin tyres? I said, no. They blow up in Formula 1 in Indianapolis. I don't want them. Well, how about these tyres? They said, where are they? He says, Cooper tyres. I said, what? He says, Cooper tyres. Oh, you mean a Cooper? New name for it used to be A1 tyres. They're Cooper tyres now. I said, are they any good? I said, you're a very good tyre. They race A1GP cars. I said, compound tyre. I said, what's that? He says, a compound tyre. When it heats up, it gets sticky, gives you lots more grip, see? I'm like, says, oh, they sound perfect. He said, what's the problem with them? He said, well, they're Cooper tyres, isn't they? He said, what do you mean? He said, when they go off just like that. Just like that, ladies and gentlemen.
A1GP gears up for its third season this month. The reigning World Cup champions are Germany, Team Germany. Well, why not Deutschland? Why aren't they called Deutschland? It should be Deutschland, not Germany.
I think in Germany they're called Deutschland.
I would imagine they are, yeah.
But on the car, it says Germany. It should say Deutschland.
Oh, really?
Anyway, the Team Germany seat holders, Michael Schumacher's manager, Willi Weber. Willi Weber, first of all, I think I should say congratulations.
Thank you very much, thank you.
You've got a good record with some good drivers in Germany. Yes. Now, the focus, I would imagine, has moved away from Michael a little now. Will winning the World Cup of Motorsport for Germany make a difference in Germany to the perception of A1?
Well, in a moment it's very difficult A1 in Germany, but I hope it will be better because now we won the championship and many more people in Germany recognize A1. We learned a lot from last year and we put mistakes together we made in the first year and say we don't make the mistake again. We understand the car much better. And with Nico we have a super talent in the car, so 1 and 1 is 2.
Willi's choice of driver was Nico Hulkenberg, who simply destroyed the competition last season. I had a brief chat with him at the last round at Brands Hatch. You were there, Zog, weren't you?
Yeah.
He was a good lad, wasn't he?
He was.
He was a good lad. Anyway, I put it to him that winning in A1GP was easy. Well, he made it look easy, anyhow.
Not too easy. I mean, we put a lot of effort in it, and winning, especially winning championships, is never easy. So we worked quite hard, and finally it got paid out. So we are very happy to be champion now.
At which point in the season did you realise that this could be your championship in your first attempt at it?
I think since Malaysia and Indonesia, we were really scoring good results and consistently good results, and we were always at the pace. We thought maybe we could win this championship.
A1 seems to operate outside of the world of other motorsport. You know, it seems to in some ways get ignored. Will winning this championship make a big difference to you in your career?
I think winning championships and winning races is always important for a driver who wants to move up to Formula 1. So, of course, when you see the CV with the A1GP title 2006-2007, it's quite helpful.
So how did you do it? Because there's guys in cars here with teams who have been working together on the car for 12 months before you joined it. What's the secret of winning in A1? Is there one?
Yeah, good team, good engineer, just a nice harmony and just floor it.
Good lad. Good for him.
Not great, just floor it. Bless him. Nico Hulkenberg, good lad.
More speed, less brakes.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm just going to run through some of the drivers for you guys in A1GP. Give us your honest reaction. For Australia, Ian Dyke.
Who?
Exactly. Brazil, Sergio Jimenez.
Who?
And then later in the season for some races, Bruno Junqueira.
Okay,
Yeah, very good. I really rate Bruno. Canada, James Hinchcliffe. He was in last year for Canada, but otherwise... No.
Oh, yeah. Hinch the Cliffmeister. Yes, of course, I don't know.
Okay.
Hinch the Grinch, I think.
China, Kung Fu Cheng. Right?
With his Kung Fu style.
Love him.
Okay.
Love his work.
He's actually
number one super guy.
Eric Yanis for Team Czech, Loïc Duval, and Nicolas Prost for France. Nicolas Prost.
That's an exciting prospect.
Oh!
Was that a pun?
Apparently, yeah.
An exciting prospect.
I didn't actually realise that until I said it.
I know, but
Prost.
Anyway,
he does look like his dad, doesn't he? Have you seen pictures of him?
Yeah,
in
he
a
does
number
look like his
of
dad,
ways.
yeah. But you've always found that a good look, haven't you, Richard?
I don't.
You love it.
For reasons that might become clear.
Will he drive like his dad?
Well, Prost has said that he's not going to act as an advisor or an ambassador for the team. Olivier Panis has just announced that he's going to. So that's very interesting. Watch the French team this year. I think that's actually genuinely interesting.
Yeah,
I've
got a lot of time for Olivier Panis.
Germany, Christian Viatoris. Christian Viatoris has been doing well in German Euro Formula 3, I think. But the German team, cracking team run by Supernova, who won the championship last year for Germany. They also run the New Zealand car, who, these are the favourites. New Zealand could win. Johnny Reid is driving for New Zealand. Tremendous little lad. Okay, Narain Karthikeyan in India's car.
Fantastic, yeah.
Now in blue. Because, like India's sporting colours.
Oh, good.
And it looks
like
nice.
Cricket.
Yeah. Good luck, Narain. Good luck. And can I apologise to Karen Shanduk? In the last show, I said he's a nice guy, will never win races. That very day, the very following day, he won a GP2 race. Can I apologise?
Well, but you may have kind of given him that, maybe one of the sort of reverse luck things.
So basically, people you tip for the top, we should take notes, and anyone listening should paging Ladbrokes, paging your local bookmaker.
Hey, there could be a way to make some money out of this if we're careful.
I don't think so.
Listen, I'm going to rattle through.
Just don't let on.
Going to rattle through the highlights in here before we go. Enrico Toccagello in Italy. Ralph Furman returns to Ireland, but it could be Adam Carroll later in the season, which is a very smart move, if you ask me. Robbie Kerr's sidelined down to the British team for a couple of races. He's off doing some American Le Mans series in America.
Right.
So Oliver Jarvis is in, who's very handy. First winner in the GB car. So Robbie will have to work hard to get his seat back there. Good luck.
But he did good work at the end of the season.
He was like a terrier, isn't he? He gets his teeth gritted. You can see him in the car almost. He's like that. He gives a lot away. Neil Yarni in Team Switzerland. Hooray for Neil, he's a good guy. But they can also choose Sebastian Buemi and Zog. Here's one for you, right? Rahel Frey and Natasha Gashnang.
I'm a fan of any driver called Natasha.
Both women.
Yeah?
Yeah. I've been looking, guys.
Both on Swiss team?
Yeah. They're going to get the rookie drives later in the year. They'll all have a little go.
Rail Frey, you say?
More women in motor racing,
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
Both very attractive young ladies. One,
that's even better.
Very attractive.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
eyebrows
your
are kind of
Google computer is where? No, they should be there on their own merits as excellent sports people, and not in any way because we might want to look at their boobies.
And Adam Khan's in the Pakistan car.
Now, I do want to look at his boobies, but that's irrelevant. They're sports people.
Adam Khan used to have boobies and slimmed down from 16 stone to 12 in about a year.
Is that true?
His dad told me. Sorry, Adam.
Oh, dear.
So we like Adam Khan.
We love Adam Khan. And,
big Adam Khan.
I love A1. I'm worried for it. I'm not sure it's going to make it. They have problems. You heard about the biofuel thing?
This sounded like a bit of a cock-up the way I heard it.
They are trying to run the cars on 30% biofuel this year. And they were supposed to have done it at the test last week, and it was the announced statement that there was an incompatibility between the fuel and the engine. So they had to run the test on petroleum, but hopefully...
sort of doesn't really matter.
They said they'd get it sorted out.
Really. I mean, it's a fairly basic
thing,
hang
on. So those engines in A1 cars, they're high revving, quite sophisticated.
Yeah.
How much do you reckon one of those a unit is?
25 grand.
Really?
Yeah,
well, 25 grand, you can buy a Saab 9.3 biofuel. Just go and buy one of those, nick the engine out of it, Bob's
the name of your father's brother, yeah.
It's not as if getting basically a petrol engine to run on ethanol should be that tricky. It's just, it's easy.
So
there we go.
Come on, people.
Particularly when we just, speculate about somebody else doing it.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
the easiest way to do it.
That is my favourite kind of engineering. Armchair engineering.
Yeah.
How hard can it be?
You've been listening to Gareth Jones on Speed with Richard.
Hello. Bye.
And Zog.
Bye. Hello.
And I think I will be Gareth Jones or something. Goodbye. Gareth Jones on Speed was made by Whiz Bang.